Good afternoon. Okay, for those that don't know me, if we've not met before, my name's Jamie. I'm the founder of Circle Networks. Um, so I'm gonna try my best to stay on track and keep this to 60 minutes. First time I've done this workshop. You're not my guinea pigs, but you kind of are, if that makes sense. I sent an email out not long ago, 15 minutes ago, that's got a link. I'll leave it to right to the end because people were still booking on. That's got a link to two things. One is 50 ideas for spotlights, and the other is a template for you if you want to fill that out. You can just take notes as we're going along with this. So, out of interest, who has done a spotlight before? Okay, who's never done one then? And by spotlight, I mean it could be a 10-minute presentation at other networking group. B and I do 10 minutes. So some people call them 10 minutes. We're just different. We call them 7-minute spotlights. Okay, it kind of goes a little bit like this. Oh, sorry, I'm just going to let some people in. Dave, I'm just going to make you co-host in case anyone else arrives. If you could just let them in for me. So, hi, I'm Jamie. I'm just going to tell you a little bit about me and why I do what I do. So, probably best if I go back to when I started school. And I was just chatting with Gillian earlier about first pets. And I was racking my brains. I had a pet called Goliath. In fact, it was what was it? It was a gerbil. Was my first pet. Gerbil called Goliath.
Jamie, you're killing me.
What?
That's so boring.
It's really important to me, this stuff. I've got
We
7 minutes to bore you to death with this.
You do that in the breakout rooms. You can bore people in your breakout room, right?
It's
Oh,
true.
I'm loving it, Jamie. I love it.
It's
I mean, I
true.
love Goliath as a name for a gerbil, personally.
Right.
And then the cat ate it.
Oh,
The cat ate. Well, he only ate half of it, and I had to flush the other half down the toilet. It's a vivid memory from my
Out
childhood.
of interest, what was the cat called?
Tibby.
David.
Tibby.
I was going to say David.
David.
It would have been good if it was called David, wouldn't it? It already had a name. I didn't name it. But my point of this, thank you very much, Neil. We staged that. My point of this is, you've only got 7 minutes. It's not to tell your life story. It's not to tell your life story. So whilst that was a bit of fun, you didn't learn anything from it. I mean, you know what my pet was called and that it died. But that's not really going to help me grow my business, is it?
You know, Jamie, just listening to you there, it sounded so much out of character. I thought, where's he going with this? I did think that, honestly.
So my point of this is, you've got 7 minutes to capture people's attention. That's going to help you with your business. That's what the point of this is. It's nice to be nice, and we talk about friendship fuel in business. I think we're very good at the friendship part, but some people struggle with the business part, and the two should be interlinked. So the point of your spotlight is to help people to build credibility and ultimately to get you more introductions. That's what it's about. I've experienced a lot over the years of networking where it gets to the point where someone does their presentation and people kind of put their pens down. They sit back a little bit like, I can relax for the next 7 minutes or 10 minutes. Don't really need to pay attention now. This is about them. It's not about me. God, this is boring. What are they actually talking about? Oh, look, I've had a WhatsApp off Lou. She's at the airport. All right, I must remember to pick her up later. That kind of stuff goes on. They might not say it out loud. But that's what happens. You've got 7 minutes to capture someone's interest. That's what I want you to help people to do. Has anybody ever watched a TED Talk?
No.
Live.
Yeah. So in the chat, just put, what was the topic of the TED Talk? I feel like I'm playing that Guess Who game now. Someone's got a dog that's barking that's not on mute. Bees. Why? Overcoming fear. Was that Start With Why from... Yeah, I watched a bit of that the other day. One of my favourite TED Talks ever, and a great book.
I love Simon Sinek.
He's very good, isn't he? I steal ideas from him all the time. If I need motivation, I'll probably watch a bit of Simon Sinek for what I'm going to do.
Same. I got a client by quoting him. Do you know that? I put it in a presentation, and they said, as soon as you quoted Simon Sinek, I knew I wanted to work with you.
Right. In true, I didn't prepare this earlier. There's someone's just knocked at the door. Dave, could you just go through those for 1 second for me?
Seamless. It's absolutely seamless. Why did any of those TED Talks stand out for you? What was it about the talk itself?
Wasn't the talk, it was the person giving the talk.
And what was that about them?
They had a definite charisma or something that
Presence.
drew you in, made you want to listen.
I think it's something like what Pete said earlier on when he kind of looked and said, that's a bit out of character for Jamie, isn't it? So Postman Pat, as I like to call him, has returned. So I will hand back over to Jamie. But I think that's the whole thing about the charisma.
Yeah, I wish I had it. So I've just had a parcel arrive. We get married a week on Saturday. There's so many deliveries arriving. What do I get? Paper cups. Paper cups, because we've got a networking event on Friday morning and I need some cups for it. My point of all of this is, you don't have to be boring with your presentations. You want to capture people's attention. You want to engage your audience. So things like put your hand up if makes people pay attention. I was at a conference a few years ago and I wasn't really paying attention, and I was sat right at the front of a room with 450 people in, and I put my hand up to, I'm going through the menopause. Because I just heard, put your hand up if, much to everyone else's amusement. So don't just put your hand up, you have to pay attention to what people are saying. Didn't go back after that. But it engages your audience. It makes them feel like they're included, like they're participating. Some of us have got topics that are more interesting than others. No disrespect to any accountants, but it's just accounts, isn't it? Now, some people might think the same about property or coaching or whatever it is that we might do. Networking, some people think that's the worst topic ever. It's my favourite. So you've got to make it a bit more interesting. Bring your personality to it. Engage people. Just put something in the chat. So just put something in the chat like, TED Talk have you watched? It engages your audience. You see all the big speakers do it. And they do it for a reason, to, one, keep people's attention. Another good thing to do is, and I like this, just give people permission to do something. So just put your pen down for a minute. I just want to give you to give me your attention. And then I talk for a little bit. And then I might say, okay, so now I'm going to describe my ideal client. And I'm looking for an introduction to virtual assistants. So I'm looking for a fun virtual assistant. Like, I can't see any on the call, but if you know one, Paddy's trying her best. But just write down the name of a virtual assistant if you know.
That was my fun dance.
I know, I was doing my best to try and ignore it there, Paddy, just to see how long you'd persist. But asking people to write things down. So imagine now that you're at the point where you can think of someone that's a good VA and you write them down. This is what usually happens. You see the top of someone's head. So if you're describing what you want and then you go, so just write down the name of someone if you think that you could introduce me to somebody. And you've got to be watching the screen at this point. You can't write and do this at the same time. But you could be ready to take a screenshot. And then the people who've got their heads down like that, you follow up with them afterwards and go, when I was doing with Spotlight, I noticed, Alexandra, that you said you wrote someone down when I said write something down. I wondered if I could help you introduce me to them. That gives you permission to get in touch with them afterwards. You might do the same in the chat. If you know someone that fits this criteria, just put yes in the chat. People don't always like to do that publicly, though, with things like that. So it might be that you just ask them to write something down. You've got 7 minutes. So ultimately, you need to hook people in at the start with something. Not, Hi everybody, my name's Jamie. Here's why. And I see people that spend 3 or 4 minutes going through their kids, their family. I mean, I love my dog to bits, but I'm not going to bore you with him and his adventures. I might do that in a breakout room or a collaboration call, but not in my 7 minutes. So you've got 7 minutes. So hook people in, take them on a bit of a journey, and then have an ending. How many times do you hear people do a spotlight or presentation of some kind and they go, me, what I do, thanks very much. I mean, we need to know how to help people, and your job is to make it easy for people to understand how to help you. So I've shared a couple of things with you. One is a resource to give you some ideas of different spotlights. Full disclosure, I used ChatGPT for it to brainstorm some spotlight ideas. So I'll just give you a quick, if you haven't read it, let me just quickly show you this. So there were some ideas in here. They might not apply to you, but you could perhaps trust them. It's in alphabetical order. The most exciting ones first, accountants. 5 numbers every business owner should check every month. And here, like, make it a bit more interesting. Well, what are they? Which one are you doing? The most expensive accounting mistake. When your accountant wishes you, what your accountant wishes you knew before the end of the tax year. So you get the gist of it. There is some ideas in there for people that do different things. Myths I hear about mortgages. What these do, they give you an opportunity to demonstrate your credibility. So if I was a mortgage broker and I was myth busting, oh yeah, I always thought that was true. What you mean I can't get a £10 million mortgage when I only earn £5,000 a year? 5 things that buyers should consider before speaking to an estate agent. Why affordability isn't the only thing that lend. You get the gist of it. So there's a range of ideas there for you to give you some inspiration. Why would you want to do spotlights? Is it everybody, or has anybody here met Chris Griffiths? Chris runs a couple of our groups. He runs Stewardship Circle. He runs Legendary. He's been in Circle Networks for just over 4 years now. When he started, I made an ass of myself. I assumed. We've all heard that thing, what assuming does. There was 4 directors in the business when he started. So I assumed that they were a well-established business. I had no idea that they were a brand new startup with no clients. So when he came along and he was talking about his business, and there's 4 of us in the business and blah, blah, I just assumed that they had clients. Now, the business that does called Voicon, they build Amazon Alexa skills. Does everybody know what one of those is? A lot of vacant looks there. So Amazon, if you've got an Amazon Alexa device and you've got, hey, Alexa, do this or launch that, it's like an app, but it's a voice app. So nobody had any idea. So Chris, when he first came, had no clients, nothing to talk about other than an idea that it was, I think, £4,000 or £5,000 to create one of his Alexa skills. Within 6 months, so he joined about this time. By Christmas, he'd picked up £75,000 worth of business from Circle Networks. Who would like £75,000 worth of business by Christmas? It would be nice, wouldn't it? How did he do it? So at the time, I think we only had 12 Circle Networks groups. So 6 events a week. And what he did was he designed 3 different spotlights. 3 different spotlights. He went around pretty much every group and did spotlight 1. Then when he finished that, he started again and went around, did spotlight 2, and then he did spotlight 3. By the time he got to the end of the 3rd one, he'd taken people on a bit of a journey. He'd educated them what is an Amazon Alexa skill, who might use one, and then what was his offer was the last one. And it worked, and it helped him get some clients. Nobody came along to Circle Networks thinking, oh, I wonder if I'm going to meet someone that can build an Amazon Alexa skill for me today. And it doesn't come up in conversation naturally either, does it? So it helped him get some clients and get some referrals. And Chris is a process person. He likes a structure to work to, so it worked very well for him. Believe it or not, I can wing it sometimes. I might look like I'm organized. Now, Dave, it's a shock, isn't it? right in the middle of my screen. But I would encourage you to think about, and that's what today is about, creating 3 spotlights. In Circle Networks, we have 55 groups that run fortnightly. So that's over 110 events a month, which has 2 spotlight speakers at each event. So we have 220 minimum speaking opportunities a month. I'll be honest, I speak to some people and they'll say to me, "Oh, I know I need to do one, Jamie, but I'm not quite ready for it yet. Maybe by Christmas." Maybe by Christmas. And that's fine. I'm not here to put people under pressure to do presentations. Public speaking is one of the... I've got a book, and death came third. Public speaking was number 1. So I want to help you put 3 spotlights together. That's what I want to do today. Chris is a perfect example of why you should do it. And once you've created them, it should be something that you repeat like a TV advert over and over again. People need to hear stuff more than once before it sinks in. Has anybody ever experienced that thing that you'll know someone for ages and then eventually they have that light bulb moment where they go, "Oh, why didn't you say? I know just that person," and you've said it lots of times. It's just that they weren't listening properly, and this is the point to do it. Okay, some people are very good speakers. I did a post about this the other day. Pete Rea, who's on here, I've seen him on stage many times. He's spoken in front of thousands of people, not just in the UK, around the world. I used to aspire to be a speaker like Peter. So I've known him for 20 years. We worked this out the other day. It was 2006 we first met. And Pete could go up on stage, walk around and talk at the same time and click buttons and have slides and have the audience eating out the palm of his hands. I used to walk up to the lectern with my notes and read from a script, and that was how I started. And I can feel my hands getting clammy now talking about it, that feeling of all the eyes on me. What was worse for me was it was all recorded and people would watch it back as well. We don't record spotlights for 2 reasons. One, if you miss it, you miss it. And I don't think that people watch recordings back. I'm generalizing there, but I think the majority of people go, yeah, they've got the best of intentions. Can you just send me the recording? And they never watch it back. So there's a pull. And my goal is for you to work on your spotlights so that it should be of a TEDx quality. That people go, "Oh my God, I saw Julian's spotlight the other day. If he's speaking again, you need to go there." Or I saw Neil talking about how to be a millionaire from property in 3 simple steps, whatever it might be. I want you to do the best that you can. But first, why are you doing what you're doing? So what's your big goal? So just in the chat, just put in, what is the big goal that you're working towards? I mean, when I first started my business, it was so I could take my kids to school. I used to work in corporate life. I used to leave at 6 in the morning. I get in at 7 at night. I missed out on the kids. So my reason for starting initially was so that I had some flexibility so I could take the kids to school. My current one is to help Lou, my lovely fiance, wife-to-be, to escape corporate life. And she finishes work at the end of this month. And that's the big thing for me. And I think most of us are doing stuff for other people, but we forget. So what's in it for you if you get more clients? So make sure you note that down at the start, because I'm not going to test you on it, but you get the gist. I think we forget sometimes. So what would you like to achieve by Christmas? It's important to know this because it links back to why might you want to do spotlights. Then, who benefits from this? So for me, if I grow my business, it means that I can get Lou out of her job. Julian, help my wife fulfill her dream of becoming an alpaca farmer. That doesn't sound like a cheap thing to do, Julian. It's going to take a few clients, I would imagine, and time as well. So I think that we're more inclined to go out of our way to do stuff and take ourselves out of our comfort zone for somebody else, for our loved ones, probably more than we are ourselves, because we let ourselves off the hook a bit. Oh, it just doesn't matter. It's only me. I can do it next month or next year or never. Whereas if it's for somebody else, we'll probably be more inclined to do it. New boiler. You might want to get that before the winter. That would be a good one. And then how will it feel when you achieve this? So you've got to link this to some feelings. The emotional drive for this stuff is usually stronger than just writing it down on a list. And after this, I really want you to think about, if I do this and this person benefits, how am I really going to feel? So just close your eyes after and just imagine having achieved this. Those are the things that drive us forwards to achieve the stuff that we haven't done. It's about doing something that we haven't done before. It's going to feel a little bit uncomfortable. Me and Dave did a podcast this morning. We were talking about comfort zone. I think your comfort zone's a bit like glue. That we step in it, we get stuck in it, and we can move so far and then it pulls us back. And we've got to break out of that sometimes in order to go somewhere new. New results is a new place, it's new feelings, new experiences. Generally, if we just carry on doing what we've always done, we're just going to get the same things we've always had. So that's a little bit about why. It's really important that you link this to why you're doing what you're doing. And then I think there's 3 spotlights that you need. An expertise spotlight. Let me get back to my notes. An expertise spotlight. A story spotlight. And an opportunity. The opportunity is one generally that's going to create the business for you. Different things work with different people. So, if we work through the notes that we've got, so the first one, ideally I want you to be sketching out what your spotlights might be. So, building your credibility. I heard Dale Swift do a spotlight yesterday. So we had a online call yesterday, and he was talking about tax and how he could save somebody between 1.2 and 2.4 million pounds in tax. And it was just left as a matter-of-fact thing in the course of the presentation. And I know this story. So Paul McGowan introduced Dale to somebody who was just about to sell their business. Dale's a tax planner and could help them potentially save £2.5 million in tax. So imagine that you're just getting to the point where you're selling your business. I can help you to have an extra £2.4 million in your bank account. Would you be interested? Yeah, maybe. You can send it to me if you want. That to me was the really exciting hook bit. How I saved somebody nearly £2.5 million. Now, depending upon what they did, it was maybe 1.2 million, but it was the hook to bring people in. We don't really need to know the detail because all he wants is a referral. So I don't know somebody else's business. I don't know how much tax they might be paying, but if I can make them want to meet Dale because he saved somebody else between 1.2 and 2.4 million, they're probably going to be interested in that meeting. And our job is just to get people meetings with people. So think about how you can demonstrate your credibility. So you might want to think about some of the people that you've worked with and you've helped. So who are those people? It could be that they made a mistake of some kind and that then they came to you. It might be your own personal story, because I think sometimes that we end up doing something in business because nobody else did something to help us in the past, so we end up fixing this ourselves. I thought on networking was rubbish, that's why I created my own one. Whatever it might be, your thing. So who do you help? What was the mistake that they had? What do you wish that they knew sooner? I guess most accountants would wish that people send all their paperwork in and do all their admin before, and it would make life much easier at the end of the tax year. People selling houses. I would imagine if they got a property stager in, it would make it look more appealing, sell quicker. If they would invest in decent photography and videography, all of these things. So what is it in your business you wish that they knew? And then the fourth one there is, what will people learn? I'll be honest, I don't think there's many people that help me do a good job in promoting them. So Dave, just to mute yourself. So think about the last couple of speakers that you've booked to do spotlights. Did they give you anything to help market their spotlights?
No, they didn't.
I love that. No, that's why I picked Dave, because he's got the deepest, gruffest voice.
Thanks.
You're welcome. But they don't. Now imagine you're going to be on the radio tonight. You're on the 6 o'clock news and they're shouting about your business, about how good you are and all the people that you help. Would you keep that secret, or would you tell everybody and get them to tell everyone? If you were going to be on the TV, would you tell everyone you're going to be on TV and that they should tune in and watch it or record it? So why wouldn't you do that when you're presenting a spotlight? I can't answer this because I can't put my finger on it. I've been doing this 6 years and it still baffles me. But Dave and I and Julian and Stephen, just checking around the room, and Neil all run events here, and we want to help promote people. So you know your stuff better than we do. You've got to make it easy for us to promote you. So why would somebody want to listen to you? What are they going to get from it? Who should be coming? Just thinking about these things makes a huge difference. What's something that somebody might learn from today? So today you're going to learn how not to do a spotlight. You know, the 5 mistakes that people make. How not to bore people when you're doing public speaking. Hopefully I'm doing a good job of that. What conversation do you want this spotlight to start? And then what's the title of it? Now, you're probably going to go away and play with ChatGPT or whatever AI you use. But go away and do that. Don't just go, oh, I'm just doing a spotlight on my services. Or it's about my why. So, hi everybody, here's my pet gerbil. It would have been really good if I had a picture of a gerbil at the start and actually did that, wouldn't it?
Both halves of it.
Yeah, it's a tale of two halves. But think about your client. You've all got client stories. I talk about this all the time. Use your client stories. That's what people remember. So, Dave Marshall, just to mute yourself.
Yep.
Who's your best coaching client?
My best coaching client. Ones that pay.
But what result did you do for them? What kind of business are they?
Transformation, change the culture within the business.
Okay. And you're very good, Dave, at public speaking. So if you get the opportunity, so I've recommended this to Dave, to other people. Dave does a spotlight about leadership and change where he starts with a story. I'm not going to ruin the story, but you wouldn't expect what he's going to share in his spotlight when he actually does it. Now, I'm teasing you because this means nothing to you, but I don't want to ruin the story for you because it's a great story. But he hooks everybody in, and then there's a message at the end of it. And I've seen him do it on Zoom, and I've seen him do it in person a couple of months ago. And he tailors it depending upon the message that he's trying to deliver, but it works very well. And he tells a story, and it's a personal story from when he was younger that he had heard from somebody else, and it works really well. You could say it's got nothing to do with business, but there's an underlying message with it. So we can tell stories that help deliver the message that we want sometimes. You've all got stories and experiences that other people will remember, and they go away and retell stories. And if Dave's wanting to talk more about transformation and leadership and working with organizations, then there's a hook then because we remember the story that he told. And that's what I want you to do a bit more, so that people go away and rave about what you said, and then put 2 and 2 together. Oh, I remember when Dave did that spotlight and he was looking for this, and I've just met someone like that. I'm going to get back in touch with him. That's what we want, ultimately. We want people to remember us, and we want them to go away and talk about us in a good way, and then make an introduction for us. So the first one is about demonstrating your expertise. Okay? An expertise spotlight. Include some stuff in there that makes it easy for whoever's event it is to promote it. So a catchy title, and you might brainstorm this with the person that you're speaking for. So I was thinking about doing this. Is that okay? What do you think I should call it? They'll help you with this. You've got AI now, which is the best brainstormer ever. And then some key points. What will someone get from it? I prompt my ChatGPT to write a FOMO post about an event. and it helps craft it in a way that people really want to be there. I have been told that I'm quite good at creating FOMO. That's what marketing is, isn't it? It's a fear of missing out on stuff. That's what you need to do with your spotlights. There is as much responsibility on you to get people in the room when you're speaking as there is everybody else. No one really points that out. Okay, the second one is a story spotlight. So I asked my ChatGPT, bear with me a second. Has anybody got any questions so far? No, good. So I asked my ChatGPT.
Jamie, I just have one, please.
Go for it.
You know, when you're saying make it easy for the host to be able to promote the spotlight, I get that. And we can, of course, promote our own spotlight. And are we okay to say to people, come on, who've never been on Circle Networks before?
We would absolutely love that, Peter. That's
Okay.
what we want.
Okay, got it.
Very rarely happens. And that's what I was saying. If we were going to be on the radio or on TV,
I'm on
we'd
it.
tell everybody.
Yeah.
Anybody can have a free trial in Circle Networks. It doesn't cost them a penny. There's no bank details to put in. They just register for the event. You can invite
Probably a good way to actually get them introduced to a trial, really, is by inviting them to something that you're passionate about. You're going to be on there. They know you. Get them on, get the experience, and all of a sudden they're on the free trial.
Oh, Peter, it was like I planted this, but full disclosure, I didn't. It's completely unprompted. Luckily, we're recording this as well. Thank you, Peter. So, example of my expertise spotlight. So I might talk about the biggest networking mistake that's costing you referrals. So I'm going to build credibility by teaching a memorable principle. I mean, my ChatGPT knows me really well. It says, opening, quick show of hands, who would like more referrals? That's exactly how we started today. So it knows me and my stuff. The second one is story spotlight. So the best business decision I ever made had nothing to do with business, and it's a story of personal journey. Peter knows this as well. At 40 years old, I walked away from a successful corporate career, and that was me in my last job. I just had enough one day, packed up my stuff and walked out. I was really lucky. They were worried I was going to go and work for a competitor and gave me a 12-month payoff. That led to more time freedom, being able to take the kids to school, doing pickups before they got too old and didn't want dad around. So whilst they were still in primary school. So tell a story. Tell a story. There will be something that's happened. Why did you start your business? But bring it back into your business. And now I help people to do X, Y, Z, and I've helped this person to do this thing. So that's your second one. Let me go back to my other notes. I've got a lot of moving parts today. Yeah. Oh, do you know what? Very rare I screen share. I just like talking, so it's not that often I have notes because I usually know what I'm talking about. So the second one, what's the story? What's the situation? What challenge did somebody have? What decision did you have to make? When you start sharing this stuff, people can relate to it because people remember stories. I remember the first time that I met George. I've told this story a few times. George, where do you live?
Stonehaven.
Does anybody know where that is? Put your hand up. Like 4 or 5 people. It's right up north, like in the cold north of Scotland, just south of Aberdeen. And George said to me, so I live in Stonehaven. It's a little town south of Aberdeen. You'll never have heard of it, Jamie. I said, actually, I have. I said, do you know Callum that runs the Bay Fish and Chip Shop? And he was like, I've been on holiday with him. It's a small world. It's a small world. So just sharing a little story like that can engage your audience, can bring a bit of humor, it makes you more normal. So sometimes as well, I wouldn't say you want to stage mistakes, but the more human you are, the more relatable you become. So what decision did you make? What happened? What did you learn? Why does this matter to your clients today? And what's your spotlight title? Put some effort into these. I want you to craft this like it's a TED Talk. I mean, a TED Talk only gets done once generally. If you're lucky, it gets on their YouTube channel, but not everyone does. Whereas here, you've got an opportunity. We've got 220 opportunities a month. I can't do the maths on that. How many is that a year?
A lot.
3,440.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot. So there's a lot of speaking opportunities here. I would encourage you to make the most of it and go and do more of this. So you're not just creating these for a one-off. I want you to craft something. And I go back to Peter. When I used to see Peter and some of the other guys in the business do presentations, they didn't just do it once. They did it at a number of events, and they would practice it on smaller stages and aspire. We used to have conferences with 5,000 people at. The goal was to get onto the big stage and do it. It was my worst nightmare, and I had to do it because I was the boss. But they aspired to do it. So they would craft their talks and do it around the country at smaller venues, hoping that one day they get to do it on the big stage. That's the opportunity that you've got here. The other thing that I'd encourage you to think about is how to make it stand out. Dave, you did a spotlight in person the other week where I was your friendly assistant, let's call it. What did you do?
So I was trying to demonstrate what it was like to be a small business owner. So I asked Jamie, who had not been prepped at all, to stand up. And I started to pass different shape and color balls to him. And the more balls, they represented emails and networking and marketing and bank accounts and everything that happens as a business owner. And then I asked him, I showed one, the particular color one that was his goal. And then I buried that somewhere in there as well. And it was just a demonstration to show how overwhelming it can become, to the point that Jamie had to, in the end, just throw everything up in the air. And I think he, at that point, said he was going to go off and go and get a job because it was all a bit much for him. But that was a visual version of it.
It was very good. It was very good. So you don't just have to do what everybody else does. That's the first time I've seen someone do something like that. So you can use props. You know, I was joking about unboxing something and having a really boring delivery. You could have something like that. Not everybody has something visual, but you could bring something into it. You can lean into the camera a little bit. You can talk quieter or louder. You can raise your hands. Watch what some of the other speakers do and just pick one of those things as something that you're going to do.
Jamie, just one quick thing to add some value. I remember when you talked about these big events, and one of the first times I got to speak on the big stage, you actually had there was a professional company that used to come in and actually coach us on how to be more impactful when we got on the big stage. But before she gave us any coaching, this lady said, "Okay, get up, do your thing." And I remember doing my thing and feeling quite cocky because I had spoken at lots of little events, and I got up there and she sat there with this ice cold look on me when I was doing my presentation. I was very nervous. And she turned around and said, "That is the worst." And she just laid into me. She said, "You've been speaking for 10 minutes before you said anything remotely interesting." And I'm thinking, you can't talk to me like that. But the message is that, you know, like, feedback is the breakfast for champions, right? And sometimes we need to press pause, look at it, do some introspection, and start to plan it out, like you said, instead of just getting up there and winging it.
Yeah. Full disclosure, Peter could talk for an hour. That would quite easily, without any prep, couldn't you, Pete?
That was my problem, Jamie. I still suffer a little bit.
So, who's got an idea for one of the first two spotlights? So the first one was on your expertise. Simon, what would you talk about? You're on mute. Just unmute yourself. Simon, we can't hear you.
I think I'd probably start with my experience living abroad, how that created the expertise for me, because it was very interesting, and the difference of working in that environment, very different types of property. So we're talking property here.
Yeah.
When I was in Central Europe, we were talking vastly different properties. There was basically castles, and it was around Moravia and Bohemia and whatever. So it's a different product, and the full disclosure on that is it's a lot easier. I mean, you can buy and sell properties in those areas a lot quicker and easier than you can in the UK. But the process of doing it was really interesting, and I think it gave me a lot of grounding for the UK side of things.
Okay.
To be honest, so I think the expertise of that really created what I can do here. You felt overwhelmed by the capacity and size there abroad. But realistically, because it's smaller here, it's actually more overwhelming here. The level of people are more overwhelming here. So it gives you a good insight into the levels of people.
And
One point,
you've got that you've got expertise that others don't have, because most people have probably just sold property in the UK, and you can bring all that experience and expertise that you've got of doing stuff internationally.
I'm not sure it would bring anything to anyone else. Psychologically, for me, it was very cool, very, very good. And I've also found something very interesting all the way through, whether it's Europe or obviously we ignore it now, but Central Europe or the UK or whatever. The higher the net worth, the easier the person is to deal with, I find. Or perhaps I'm more comfortable in that.
Maybe. Okay, thank you very much. Neil, just unmute yourself.
Hello.
What about your opportunity, your story spotlight?
Story spotlight. I've got quite a few stories I can tell about people that have wanted to get involved in property, have gone down the route of going to one of these massive events and been sold to, and then actually, when it's materialized, they've not got anything like what they thought they were going to get or sign up for, and then have spent weeks, months trying to get money back and refunds. And that whole sales pitch of the so-called guru. So I'm promoting myself as the non-guru guru and doing it that way. So that's kind of the story spot. Like I've got a young lad who started with me a month ago now, and he's a driving instructor, and he paid money to go on a training course and to get lots of training and to be put in touch with a mentor or a coach to help him forward. And the mentor or the coach never materialized. Now, he's an interesting character because he told me that he phoned the guy every day for 3 weeks, 3 or 4 times a day to get his money back, until the guy actually said, "Will you stop calling me?" And he said, "I'll stop calling you when you give me money back." And the guy actually refunded the money minus the cost of Stripe or whatever it was. But that happens a lot, and that's probably one story I could tell.
Okay, I like that. Out of interest, who preferred it with Neil full screen or him as one of the little tiles?
Full screen.
Full screen is much more impactful.
Yeah.
Full screen.
So if you're not going to use slides and you want if you want someone to make you full screen like that, what they need to do is, so whoever's the host of the Zoom call, you need to get them to spotlight you for everyone. They'll only do that if you ask. So it's not obvious to everybody, but I think it's much more impactful. The other thing that I'll just share, if you click on the share button at the bottom, and this doesn't work for everybody, but click on share. I don't want you to share anything, but on my screen on the right hand side, it gives me options for content only, as a background, side by side, or over the shoulder. Now, not everybody has that.
No. Mine just says entire screen.
Yeah. So are you on a free version of Zoom, Simon, or a paid one?
Paid, I think.
Okay, that's interesting. I'm trying to work. I don't know why some people have got it and some haven't.
I'm on a free one, and I have it.
Oh, that's really weird.
You have it. Maybe it
Yeah.
should be
So let me just share. So this is the over-the-shoulder version.
all right. Oh, cool.
So hopefully you can see that I stay on screen and I've got the slides next to me, and then I keep your attention whilst I'm doing it. And I think that's the closest to when we're in real life and there's a projector and a screen and we stand next to the screen, so I can be pointing like this. It takes a bit of practice to work out where you're going to be, but you hold the attention of your audience because it's me and the information at the same time. I see a lot of people.
I saw Chris do that the other day, and I thought, how did he do that? Now I know.
There you go. So if you're on that share page, there is, if you're on content only on the right hand side, underneath there's a box that you can tick for share sound as well. So if you're going to play a video or music, there's nothing worse than you sharing something and it sounds great in your office through your computer, but everyone else is watching thinking, can't hear any of this. Because these microphones have got noise cancelling and they cancel it all out. So if you're going to play a video or play something with sound, you need to tick the sound box to share that. These are just the little things that no one wants to tell you when you're presenting because it's too late then. they don't want to. Neil very graciously interrupted me at the start and told me how boring I was, but he's not going to tell me halfway through my presentation that the sound's not working. So these are the things to practice and get comfortable with before you do it. Does anybody here really enjoy putting PowerPoint slides together?
No.
No volunteers? Oh, Stephen would like to do that for everyone. Thanks, Stephen. Paddy wants to do it. Well done.
Do it all the time.
There is a really good tool called, Dave,
Gamma.
Gamma AI. It's very good at creating slide decks. So there's a free version of it, and if you recommend it to other people through a link, you get extra credits, so you can do more with it. But I would say draft everything that you're thinking of doing in ChatGPT, and then ask it to write you a prompt for Gamma to create the slides, and you copy and paste that prompt into Gamma, and it works its magic, and within seconds you've got a slide
It's
deck.
unbelievable.
It is very good. And then you can personalize it and edit the colors and add your logos and do all the branding. It's very good. I'm not a natural slide user. I just like the audience, and I like to just talk. I'll share resources and I'll share things like that, but I don't like putting big slide decks together because I think you lose the audience with it. But it's up to you with what you do. Just don't talk through the content on the slides, because people can read that. So my background was always told to me that the slides are there for information for people. It should add to your presentation. It shouldn't be the presentation. So big impactful images that relate to the message that you're delivering might help, or something that you can't talk through, or you're going to talk through or do a demo. Live demos work very well. So if I was, I don't know, Stephen, what do you do? Just unmute yourself.
Hi, I help small business owners go through the ceiling using business transformation and AI.
So you could probably do a live demo of something that you've created in AI for people.
Could do, yeah.
Nikki Wallace on here. Nikki, just unmute yourself. What's your core service?
Sorry, I've got a George who wants attention. This is George, everybody. Yeah, I'm a freelance PR consultant and copywriter.
So you could probably show us some examples of PR that's landed different places. And if you had that either in a slide deck or a number of tabs on a website, it would be quite easy to visually show that. It's a bit harder if you're a coach to show somebody. Simon's in the world of property, as is Neil. They can show that, and you paint a picture with stories. You can do demos. I'm just going to show you a real quick one, something that's literally hot off the press today. So this came out about 10 minutes ago. So this is our back office system. So if you go into the
way too many tabs, Jamie. Way too many tabs.
Yeah,
that's nothing. That's nothing.
You'll see when the next time you log in, there's a button here called Near Me. So if you, before you do that, you want to go to the settings part and just tick this box, show me on the members near me map. So when you're logged in on our dashboard, click on settings, go to the bottom, tick this box, show members near me, and save privacy settings if you want to. Then when you're on here, it will show you members that live near you. So if you want to find out who lives near you and that you'd like to meet up with for a coffee, maybe, that might be the thing to do. And then I can go, all right, so Dale Swift, and then I can go and I can get in touch with him. So that's just a new feature. Now, that might be something that you do, a live demo like that in one of your spotlights on something that you do. And then people go, oh, they've got this thing and I saw this video of it and now I know how to do it. And then I can go and show somebody else. So that might be something that you think about for your third spotlight. This is the opportunity. So if you had, if we take Stephen as an example, that creates some new fandangled thing for AI that can read all your emails and reply to you while you're asleep, make you loads of money, then it might be that he can do a quick demo of that. That would be quite easy. It could be that you show people and get them doing it themselves at the same time. So think about what your spotlight might be that demonstrates your expertise. This is what people want. So the last one there, it's got help people to spot opportunities for you. So I don't know, Steve. If I was Stephen, maybe I might go, who in the room uses AI? Put your hand up. People put their hand up, or you might put in which AI tools do you use? So you could put that in the chat. Then that's telling Stephen who's using it. What level of competence would you say that you were? Beginner, medium, or advanced? And then he can decide who he's speaking to and tailor his audience to that. He might have created I'm making this up now, but he might have created a custom GPT just to demonstrate his expertise in something. He could put the link in that to the chat, and then you could go off and you could demo it yourself. You get the point of what I'm saying. Do something that makes you seem like the expert. Something really simple, and you've only got 7 minutes for this. Now, if we were talking about AI, then in that last spotlight thing is what are the warning signs that people should listen out for? I think in our businesses, Richard, just unmute yourself. Sanders, what's your business?
Yes. So close protection for high net worth individuals and ultra high net worth individuals.
Is anybody here looking for close protection right now? Bit worried about your safety when you're going shopping and getting your cash out of the cash point?
It would be great to have one, that wouldn't it?
It would. So sometimes we can go networking and not be around people that are potential clients. And that's the way that I view all networking. Nobody's come here to buy anything today. But how can we spot people? So no one's, I would imagine in Richard's world, no one's going to post on social media saying, I'm looking for some close protection advice and guidance and someone that can shadow me and protect me the next time I go to a gig. It might be that Richard needs to teach us the phrases that people value their privacy. I read a post about ultra high net worth privacy and how people are stopping posting pictures of stuff. So it could be that there's a certain sentence or a phrase that people are using that might trigger that. I'm guessing in Richard's world, they probably use private jets. There might be certain locations that they go to. So these are some of the things that if Richard was doing his spotlight, so he might say, here's what I do, here's some of my credibility. So he might have been in the Royal Marines or something like that. And then he's done X number of years service and served in these different situations. And now he runs a business that does this, this, and this. You're probably not going to have somebody ask you for this. But here's some of the things that someone might say that means that it's a potential introduction for me. And what I usually end with is, I want you to speak to me first. I don't want you to try to introduce me and mess it up. And I've been networking a long time, and no one has ever said to me, Jamie, I had a brilliant referral for you, but I messed it up and they don't want to speak to you now. It's never happened. I think that, and I've done it before, I've tried to make an introduction for somebody and messed it up because I didn't know what to say. They asked me a question, I couldn't answer it, and I just went, but they were a really nice guy, or Paddy's lovely, you should really meet her. And they go, yeah, I'm all right, thanks. So people don't tell us when they mess up referrals. So I always want someone to come to me. So at the end of my spotlight, I would say, and if you think you know someone that might be a good fit for me, let's have a chat and I can tell you what to do. That does two things. One, it tells me if anyone's actually listening and if what I'm saying is working. Because if you keep asking people to come to you, if they've got someone to refer you to and no one does, either you're speaking to the wrong people or you're not saying the right stuff. And then you've got the opportunity to have a chat with them and give them the best opportunity to make that introduction. And ultimately, what you want people to do is get you a meeting. We don't want emails. We want meetings with people. So have a bit of time to work through that and put together some spotlights. Think about how you might help other people to market you with that. Why would somebody want to go and do it? Alexandra, what would you talk about if you were doing one of your spotlights?
Currently, probably how to go back and from sorry, put me on the spotlight. And I'm switching to English. How to turn the mud into diamonds.
Okay.
Like how to through I don't know, you know part of my story, but what I went through last year, it's something that most probably people will crash, and how to bounce back and use those things to shape what you're doing and how you move forward with your business and your life, and how to become even stronger and resilient. And because of my story, like my true story, I think this will be a huge hook for that.
I think there's a lot of people leaning in already that want to know more.
Yeah.
That's how it should be. It should be, oh, I'm interested in this, I want to know more. Now, it doesn't come naturally to everybody. So feel free to brainstorm ideas with other people, take inspiration from others, but come up and do a bit of work to come up with something that helps you be the best version of you. Does anybody think that they're average at what they do?
No.
We don't. We're good at what we do. So we should do good spotlights about what we do. We don't want to do an average spotlight. We don't want to be mediocre. We don't want to be rubbish. You want to do a spotlight that hooks people in, and at the end of it gives them something to do. I hear a lot of people that waffle nicely, tell a bit of a story, and then end, and I'm left thinking, so what? I'm a to-do person. I like to have something to do, and the easier that to do is, the better. So think about what that might be for you. And it's not about getting everybody to help you. There's 21 of us on this. So you've got, if this was a networking event and you're just doing your spotlight, you probably don't want 20 referrals. You just want one or two really good ones. So if I take Neil as an example, I would imagine that there's a lot of people would like to get into property investment, Neil, isn't there?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of people that talk about it but never do it. And if I was to qualify people better, so I could, somebody once said that they wanted to buy a house, Neil, so I'm going to introduce you to it. I can send you 15 emails of people that once said maybe that someday I'd like to do this thing. It's a lot of work for you to go back and filter all those people. But if I know from you, let's say it's £5,000 to work with you, and I speak to Simon and I go, Simon, it's £5,000 to work with him. I'll tell you a story about, I heard Neil do this spotlight the other day about how amazing he is, and he got somebody involved in property development. But it cost £5,000 to go through his training. Would you like me to set up a meeting? So I'm only going to put people in front of him that are the right people. I've had my experience of rubbish referrals in the past, and there's a high and a low. Oh my God, I've got a referral, it's a client. Oh God, another time waster. So think about your call to action at the end. Now, your next challenge, I need you to smile because I'm going to take a picture. Okay, so look at the camera and I'm going to take a picture in 3, 2, 1. Right, now I've got a picture of everybody that's at this training. If you scroll down on the next part of that workbook, it says, what are you going to do in the next 90 days? So as a minimum, I would expect you to do one spotlight a month. Now, 1 out of 220 speaking opportunities isn't a lot. So the way to get speaking, I'll just end with this bit. Ideally, what I want is someone to come to one of my events and then go, Jamie, could I speak at one of your future events? So they've already met some people there. So let's say tomorrow afternoon I'm running High Impact Circle. What day are we on today? On Thursday afternoon I'm running High Impact Circle at 1 o'clock. Someone comes along to that, likes it, and then they go, Jamie, would it be possible that I could speak? I've got this spotlight called this, this, and this. This is what someone will get from it. When could you fit me in? That's the best way to do it. The lazy way is, sorry if anyone's ever done this, to post in our Facebook group going, I'd like more spotlights, please. I have no idea what it's about. I have no idea when they're available. I don't know if it's relevant to the particular group that I run. It creates work for me. and I'm busy, like you, like all the other people that run events. So Tony might do one on how he can. I don't know, Tony. What would you do one on?
How I helped an American couple buy their dream home in Portugal.
Oh, there you go. So if you know anyone that's involved in foreign property, you maybe want to invite them along to that with hopes and aspirations. People that maybe live in one country and play somewhere else. Tony can help them in all that different way, moving their money around the world and save a load of money doing it. So you get the gist of it. That's what I want you to think about. I've seen people do spotlights, and I've seen Gillian as an example. She had a workshop that she was doing. The more spotlights she did, the more people booked and became clients and referred her. There is a direct correlation between doing more good spotlights, and I'll caveat the good bit. If you do a shit one, it's not going to work. So it needs to be a good spotlight. The more good spotlights you do, the more opportunities it creates. Your thing might just be, and if you think that the call to action at the end might just be, I'd love to have more one-to-ones with people. Whatever your thing is. The last bit, on your Circle Networks profile, go in, and in the wording part, just put what your spotlights are. So some of the leaders will be able to go, and I'll just give you an example of this. So if I look in the members directory and I search for spotlight, if I can type. So if I search for spotlight, it'll come up with different profiles that have got spotlights in. And if I look at Chris's, then it's got here the different spotlights that he does. I would also encourage you to have a look at, I think that Donna McKenna has got a great profile. So she's gone in and put extra stuff in there. So she hasn't just got a link, she's put in unique links to all the different things that people might be interested in knowing. Then she's formatted her profile using a bit of colour and spacing, and it's a very good looking profile. Then, for the keen-eyed amongst you, you'll see this little thing at the top here, add to shortlist. So if I click that, Donna gets added. We're going to change the name of it. I don't really like shortlist, but you'll notice here, this has appeared today, shortlist. And here, the people that I've shortlisted show up in a private area just for me, and I can add notes in there. So if you look at what I've written earlier about Gillian, so Gillian runs Authority Circle. She wants introductions to people thinking about writing a book to build authority. She lives in Somerset, has dogs, cats, horses, kids, the whole shebang. So you can add your notes in there about people that you've met or that you want to meet. And this is going to become like a CRM system as we develop that for the people that you've met. Ultimately, we'll make it searchable. So if you've got, someone said that they had a horse. Who was it I spoke to? So you could search for horse. Or someone said I'd like an introduction to people who've done foreign property. Oh, Simon. So the better the notes that you keep in there, the better you'll be able to index stuff and find stuff.
Jamie, I love that. I was just chatting the other day with a few people, and we were talking about, it was Liz. I was speaking to Liz yesterday and saying, so we were talking about whether we knew someone in particular. I said, oh, do you know what? And I couldn't remember. I said, I've got all these notes from my one-on-ones, and with the best intentions, I wanted to go on and add them somewhere where I could actually then always be appraised of the conversations I've had, and now you've just done that. One thing that would be even better, sorry, just saying, which would be great, if there's something on there where you could actually go in and put that you select a date for when you want to follow up, and then on the dashboard it would pop up and say, to do today.
We're going to put to-do list in it, but that's just version 1.
Fab. Thank you.
So let me just, and this last bit. So this is the dashboard that you would see. If you click on My Meetings, it naturally shows you the ones that you booked for. But if you click on Attended, and then click on a particular event, then Show Details, it'll show you all the people that were on that event. Then you could add them to your shortlist if you wanted. So that's the stuff, when you get the email that comes out afterwards and says click to see attendees, this is another way to see all the people.
This is a great way of seeing it.
Yeah. And then you can add, oh, I met Sophia today. I think I'll add her to my shortlist. And then you can go in and go, right, I met Sophia today. Her husband's called this. She does that. So I think that's going to become a really useful tool for people. But first, you need to go away and do a little bit of work on your spotlights. Think about what you're going to create. Perhaps go and watch a couple of TED Talks and see what they do. Because ultimately, I think most TED Talks, they just stand in one place, don't they? They don't move around. They might have slides. They're not doing a big show. They're hooking people in with what they say. So it might be that you've got some props where you can go, you know what? This is the best mug ever. You need to buy more of these. Or it might be that you do a slideshow. You might want to get people to spotlight you as the speaker, despite how shy we might be. Maybe I should do more of this and less of it like this. So think about what you want. If you've never done a spotlight, we encourage the speakers to arrive 15 minutes before the start time. So we just run through prep. So we don't let anybody else in until the event starts. But if you're going to screen share, we'll check that screen share is working okay, that you're comfortable with it. If you, the other thing that you might want to do at events, we generally don't ask people for questions, because there's nothing worse, I think, than you going to the effort of putting together a spotlight together, and then I go, so has anyone got any questions for Dave? And it's just that awkward moment where everyone's trying to avoid, oh, really? I've just got to write this thing down. It kills the moment. So we don't generally ask for questions. You could plant one if you wanted. You saw what I did with Neil at the start. Neil, I'd just like you to interrupt me at the start and tell me how boring this is. I mean, you maybe wouldn't do that, but you could do something like that if you wanted somebody to ask you a question that was pertinent to what you do. There's not a huge time for that, but hopefully that's been useful. This is going to run once a month, so it'll be on there. So if you want to go away and tell other people about it, I'd be very grateful. If you didn't like it, then feel free to keep that to yourself.
Jimmy, I think once you practice this, you're going to be really good at it,
Thanks. One of the things that I've got here is the ability to mute people as well. So thanks very much for that, Peter. Right. Thank you very much, everybody. Sorry, we've ran over slightly. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thanks, Jamie.
Thanks, Jamie. Bye.
Yeah.